Hey there everyone, this is Jason Corcoran coming to y'all again from Breaking Modern Walls, and looking forward to starting this second video. Now I told y'all in the first video that my next video would be about what is truth, and I stuck to that. I told the truth. So this video is about what is truth. So let's dig into truth, because I've seen a lot of different preachers, pastors, teachers, etc. try to talk about truth, and they often trail off very quickly into what is the truth. And we're going to get into that some, but really I want this video to be more about focusing on what is truth itself. What makes truth true? One of the biggest things that have come into the world today, the biggest false belief I think has permeated just about every different denomination of not only Christianity but all kinds of different religions around the whole world, is this new age idea that whatever you believe is true for you. This truth is just relative to whatever you believe. You know, there is no truth. I've heard that statement. There is no truth. Well, quick response to that is that true? That's kind of a little conundrum there, because if you say that's true, well then all of a sudden that can't be true. So let's talk about truth. Let me illustrate this in a way that's easy to understand. I'm recording this video on a cell phone. It's a particular brand, make, model, etc. And I know exactly what that brand, make, model is, but you, the viewer, may not. So let's say that there are 50 viewers, 100 viewers, 1,000 viewers. It really doesn't matter how many. Any one of you could have any number of different ideas and opinions on what type of phone I'm recording on. Some of you may say, well, he looks like he's recording on a Samsung, look at that sound quality. And others may say, no, I think he's recording on an iPhone, look at that video quality. And then someone else might say, well, no, there's something else about that video that just, I think it's a Windows phone. And you could come up with all different type of explanations and arguments about that. The simple fact is, you're not going to change the type of phone that I'm recording on. Even if the majority of people came up with a solution and said, hey, we're all going to agree that this is the phone he's recording on, it will not necessarily make you right. Okay, so if I am, which I am, I'm recording on a Samsung Galaxy S7. Okay, so if you, up until this point, believed that I was recording on an iPhone, it doesn't matter how hard you believed it and how fervently you believed it. I mean, you might believe it half-heartedly. It doesn't really matter what phone he's recording on, right? You might believe it enough to argue over it, right? You know, hey, he's talking about it, why not argue about it? You could actually go out and fight wars over it and die over it. It would not matter how hard, how fervently you believe this phone is an iPhone. You're never going to turn it into an iPhone if it's not one. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about truth. It is the reality that is undeniable in the sense that it is what it is, and what you believe cannot change it. Now that also applies to the spiritual realm, religions, etc. I hesitate to call Christianity religion because I believe that it is the truth while everything else is religion. But we'll talk about that later. So you can't have one person say, I believe there is a God, and another person say, I believe there is no God, and both of them be right. It's incoherent. It doesn't work. Okay? You can't have this person over here and say, you know, I believe in reincarnation, and they get reincarnated, and then the atheist says, well, I don't believe there's a God, and so they cease to exist. It's not going to happen that way. We're all going to meet the same eventual eternity. No matter what we believe about eternity, if you're wrong, if you believe the wrong thing, it's not going to change the end that you're going to meet. We're all going to end up facing the same eventual truth as far as what is there after our death. Okay? Doesn't matter what you believe, how hard you believe it. You can believe all day long that there's a reincarnation. If there's not one, you're not going to be reincarnated. All right, so let's dig into the practical here a little bit. We talked enough about cell phones. So let's examine a statement by Christ. We're going to look at this statement he said, where he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by me. It's a pretty heavy statement, isn't it? So the first thing I notice about that statement, just from a pure English language standpoint, is that statement lacks something called qualifiers. Now, what are qualifiers? Words like might, may, could, one way, a. Okay, so that statement doesn't have those. Look at, say, a back of an antifreeze bottle. You know, it's going to say something like, may be harmful or fatal if swallowed. See, Jesus' statement didn't say anything like that. He did not say, I am one way, or I could be a way, or, you know, all he said was, I am the way. So there's another implied word there, a little more English here. After the word the, there is generally another implied word, only. Okay? So if I said, go get the bike, well, it implies that there's only one bike there. Because if there was a red bike and a green bike and a blue bike sitting there, well, your next question would have to be, which bike? Okay? So there is no statement. I would have to tell you, go get the green bike, or the red bike, or the blue bike. And then there would be the implication that there's only one red bike, or blue bike, or green bike. If there were two red bikes and I said, go get the red bike, you'd have to say, what? Which one? Okay, so Jesus did not leave an opening there for a which one. It was, I am the implied only way. I am the only truth. Now, because that statement lacks qualifiers, because it is so I am and only, that statement either has to be true or false. So I'm not talking about the reality of it yet. I'm just talking about the logical standpoint here. That statement has to be true or false. It cannot be anything in between. Okay, so if we understand that, let's hold on to that thought for a second. That's only true or false, right? Jesus was either lying or he was telling the truth. He's either really not God or he really is. It's one of the two. So let's look at Islam real quick. Change gears here. Islam and quite a few other religions around the world refer to Jesus as a prophet. They don't refer to him as the Son of God. They don't refer to him as the Messiah. They don't refer to him as nobody. They refer to him as a prophet. He was wise. He had all these interesting teachings that revolutionized the world and all this kind of mumbo-jumbo. Okay. If you look at the Bible or in just about any religious book at all, anything that has prophecy, one of the qualifications for a prophet is that the prophet cannot be wrong. They cannot give false prophecy. If they give one false prophecy, all their prophecy is null and void. And it's, oh, well, they were wrong. Too bad. They're shipped off to the side. They cannot lie. So, if Jesus had to tell, if that statement was either a truth or a lie, one of the two, then if he lied when he said that he was the way, the truth, and the life, and he was just a prophet, well, then he couldn't have been a prophet because he lied. But if we consider, okay, well, he told the truth when he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by me. Well, if he was telling the truth, then he can't just be a prophet. So whether he was telling the truth or whether he was lying, it doesn't matter, because in either case, he can't be a prophet. It's either null and void because he lied, or he's not a prophet because he told the truth about being much more than a prophet. Okay, so that if the prophet of Islam, Muhammad, said that Jesus was a prophet, when he obviously can't be because it defies logic, then that means that Muhammad lied when he said Jesus was a prophet. And if Muhammad lied, then he's not really a prophet. And the entire Islamic religion is false, and it's destroyed that quickly by a simple thought that Jesus was a prophet, whenever everything he spoke was true or false. Okay. So, now that we had that little bit of fun, and that goes for just about every religion of the world, you know, and we'll get a little bit more into why people believe in other religions in some of our later videos. I'm really looking forward to those, and talk about self-glorification and the human nature. But understanding truth from this standpoint is going to be really important later on in some of the videos that we go through, because unless if I'm specifically talking about defending God's reality or defending Christ's reality, that he really is who he said he was, all of my videos are going to come from a presuppositional standpoint, meaning that myself and the viewer already have an understanding that all of my opinions and all of my thoughts and conclusions are based upon the fact that God really is real, that he really did create the world by his own sovereign power, and that he is ultimately in control, and that Jesus Christ did die on the cross, he did rise again, and he did save us from our sins, etc., etc., and that those things aren't going to be up for question, that that is the truth that I'm basing everything else upon. Because you're not going to be able to understand some of the other videos if you don't understand that this is in fact the truth, and what the truth of the video is just going to be based on. So I want to make this very important foundational video for you guys so we could really understand what truth is and what truth is really about. The truth is not relative to what you believe, that it doesn't matter how hard you believe something, if it's not true, it's not going to make it true. Alrighty guys, so I'm looking forward to the next video. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do next. I might, I'm considering doing some exegesis on Romans 13, talking about the divine right of kings. Well, that's going to be an interesting one. I might actually have to make 2 separate videos on that because that gets so complex. I'm considering doing some free will and God's sovereignty stuff. I might let y'all say which one y'all might want first. So we'll get to that stuff when we get to it. We got our niece over here this week, so things are a little bit crazy and busy. I don't know how many more videos I'm going to be able to make this week, but I'm looking forward to making them, and we're looking forward to sharing them with you guys, and hope that everyone gets to benefit from all this, and that this ministry continues to grow and flourish, and hopefully win souls and help already won souls to gain greater understanding of God's grace, mercy, and love. So alrighty guys, hope to see y'all next time. Bye-bye.